Hi, my name is Ava Richards, and this is Quaran-Tea Time, a show where I team up with my friends over a Zoom call for the ultimate baking competition, all with recipes that can be made with common ingredients during the quarantine. This is the very first episode of the show, so welcome! This week, there will not be an epic showdown, which I know is very sad, but I wanted to start the series off with a shorter episode to show what the whole series will be like and the sort of recipes that we're going to be making. For this first episode, we're going to be making Mille-feuille. This was originally supposed to be jam roly-poly, something I definitely know how to pronounce, but unfortunately I overbaked the dough, so we changed the recipe up, we worked with what we had, and we created this. The link for this recipe will be in the description, as it will always be for every single episode of the show. So if you actually want to make the jam roly-poly, then just click the link and you can make it, and I'll be dumb like me. So let's get into the kitchen, out of your depressing quarantine outfit, and get ready to bake. Okay, maybe not that extreme. We only need 3 ingredients for this recipe, which are flour, butter, and jam. And I guess water, if you want to count that as an ingredient. I halved the recipe that's linked down below, so I'm using 1 cup of flour, 3.5 teaspoons of butter, and if you halve the recipe, you're supposed to use half a cup of jam, but that seemed like a lot, so I just decided to not measure any jam out. The first step in this is to wash your hands. Please, wash your hands. 20 seconds with soap, people. After that, preheat your oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and now we can start with the actual baking. First, we are going to get a large bowl and sift the flour into it. Next, cut the butter into small pieces into the bowl. Now this part might seem a little gross, but now we have to sort of smush the butter into the flour so it becomes a breadcrumb texture. To do this, you basically just use the tips of your fingers and rub the 2 ingredients together. It sounds weird, but it works, trust me. It takes a couple of minutes to do it, but once you're done, it should look something like this. Then we're going to get half a cup of water and create a small hole in the middle of the flour mix. Pour the water into this hole a little bit at a time. Trust me, you don't want to put all of the water in at once because you could mess everything up. Then you just have to mix it all together so it creates a dough. And if your mixture doesn't look wet enough or it isn't really combining, just add a little bit more water. You might not have to use the whole half cup in this process, just see whatever works for you. Then get a baking sheet and grease it. I used butter, but you could use a spray or some sort of grease-proof paper. Then you can spread the dough out on the pan and make sure that you spread it pretty thin. I tried to use a spoon to do it, but it wasn't really working, so I covered my hands in flour and used my fingers instead. Once you've done that, you can put it in the oven and set a timer for 20 minutes. I accidentally baked it for 25 minutes, so it's a little bit overbaked. So don't make the same mistake that I did. After it was all cool, I cut the pastry into 4 sections, but because mine was overbaked, it fell apart, which was really sad, but it is what it is. Then it's time to spread out the jam on each layer. I prefer less jam, but you can put on as much as you would like. Then you can stack it together and make it into a little sandwich. And this is the finished product. It's definitely pretty ugly, but that's okay. Sometimes you mess up, and that's totally fine. And we're not trying to be professional bakers here. We're just trying to do something else during quarantine instead of scrolling on Instagram for 5 hours. Alright, so I made a little mini version of the thing that we baked out of the scrap pieces that fell off when I was cutting it. So I'm just gonna try it and see how it tastes. I mean, you can obviously tell that it's overbaked, but besides that, it's actually really good. So I'm not complaining. This dessert was really easy to make. It was only like 3 ingredients, 4 if you count water,
and it only took like 20 minutes to like prep everything and like 20-ish minutes to bake. And that's why I'm excited to do this show. I'm excited to share more recipes with everyone that involve really simple ingredients and ingredients that you probably have in your own homes. Because right now it's really good to just stay inside, follow all the rules that are put in place by the government, and just make sure that we're trying to keep everyone as healthy as possible. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Like I said at the beginning, our next episode will feature more people, and we'll have the Zoom calls, and there will be more of the competition aspect. We'll still have all the recipes linked in the description below, so you don't have to do all the crazy things that we're gonna do with the recipes. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!